why do you think that's a mindset that the believers have, that we don't have this mindset that we should feel fulfilled in all areas of life, and that includes our life work and our purpose?
Yeah, I mean, when I break it down in my mind, the best way I can understand it is that my family comes from Haiti, and a lot of being African Americans, you know, we Black African American, African diaspora, however you want to label it, we come from a survival mindset, right? And it's just not our ethnicity, it's other ethnicities too, right? It could be anyone, right? But I can only speak about my background, right? So not in detail. So coming from Haiti, right, the pinnacle of success was having a stable 9-to-5 job. Like if you are a doctor in Haiti making doctor money, you are respected at the top of the community. You can go see a doctor without having to pay. Your family can go. It's just like you're okay, and there's no concept of savings. There's no concept of investing. There's no because it's literally like a hand-to-mouth existence.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, I've reached the top. I'm a doctor, whatever. But that completely unprepares immigrants when they come here for what the reality is in the States, right? So for them, it's like, oh, get a 9-to-5 because that was success back home. But it's like that's not success here. Like, you know, had I been born and raised in Haiti, I may have been fine, right? But being here, it's like, wait a second, this is the greatest country in the world. Like, I can do anything I want. People make money on podcasts, YouTube, whatever. Like, whatever you put your mind to and you invest your energy in, you will make money doing. Like, so it's like, at the end of the day, when I retire, it's like, if I stayed a patent attorney writing patents on useless technology, useful technology that I didn't really care about, right? It's one of those things, like, it's like, who do I have to blame? It's like me. I didn't grow up in Haiti. Like, I had one shot at like just being a doctor or like an engineer. It's like, so when I reached that point, I feel like people have that mindset where it's like, you have to do this because it's like, I'm like, or else what? Like, or else how many people do you know that are like living on the streets because they try to start a business? Like, I don't know many. Like, there are ways that if you plan it out, there are contingencies, there are different ways you can pivot throughout life. And it's sort of like taking the training wheels off and saying, listen, like, I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid this doesn't work because I'm going to learn stuff and I can always go back. If I really need to, I can always go back. My license has not expired. And it's just sort of like operating in that freedom. And it's actually a spiritual principle because it's like, God has not given us a spirit of fear.
Come on.
Why am I fearful that it's not going to work out?
Yeah.
Right? Like, even that we couch our fear in this package that makes it seem more sanctified. It makes it seem more like wise, right? It's like, oh no, don't do this. It's like, if this doesn't work, if this website doesn't work, then what? It's like nothing's gonna happen, right? Like, so I feel like the mindset for a lot of people is it's a sink or swim. It's sort of like if this fails, and even like taking a year off to like in between high school and college. A lot of parents are like, don't do that, right? But during the year of missionary work, whatever a kid does, they can learn a lot about themselves. They can learn about what they actually want to study in college or what they want to study in grad school, whatever it might be. I have a cousin that took a year off between college and med school. He deferred his acceptance and then went to med school after, and it's just like he loved it. Right. And timing is so important when it comes to these things because I for my last year of law school, I went to France to study abroad. It was like one of the best years of my life as a student. Best year. And I've been there multiple times again after, right? And nothing can top that one experience, right? And what's the difference? The difference was that I was a young man. I was, just worried about school. I was accomplishing a master's and a law degree, and I was learning a language. The confluence of all these things made it such an amazing experience. Meeting people, going to church. You go now it's different. Like, I'm at a different place mentally. I'm at a different place physically. And so a lot of times prevent people from striking the iron when it's hot, right?
Yeah.
And so you can do it later, but it's like, no, this is the moment. It's like, don't let fear get you because fear is irrational, essentially what it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It says that, I mean, even in the verse itself, right? God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind, right? So that shows the contrast between fear and a sound mind,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so a lot of times we're not operating rationally when we're operating from fear. And it's so funny that you say that, because it's just so funny, the parallels, right? Because I remember talking to my mom and I had that same conversation, made that same statement. I'm like, it's like when we're so low to the ground, right? Like we haven't done some great thing. We haven't accomplished so much. We haven't climbed this big ladder, right? And yet we're afraid to jump, not realizing, like, bro, we a step or two off the ground. Like, even if we hit the ground, it's like you're just gonna get back up. Like, you're not even gonna die, you're not gonna kill yourself, you're not gonna drown. Like, no, you're gonna get right back up and you can keep going. It'd be different if you were saying, oh, I'm way up, I'm on the top of the mountain and I'm gonna jump. That would be totally different, right? And so it's so crazy to see this contrast of mindsets between people who have climbed a certain portion of the mountain, right? People who are going on the way up, right? And their willingness to jump out and try something different, their willingness to go out on the limb, right? To put their efforts behind something, versus those of us, right, who we were in that position where we were looking and saying, man, we're right here. What if it doesn't work? You know, I always was thinking, like, you know what? If I never jump, that would be the worst thing, because I would never know if I could accomplish this thing that I really believe I can accomplish. You know what I mean? And that's the most fearful, is like, I don't want to not accomplish the thing because I didn't try.
Yeah.
You know, that would be the worst. You know what I mean? That would just be the worst. Thanks for watching the Lion and Lambo podcast. We hope this clip has been a huge blessing to you. And we want to remind you that we drop new videos, new podcast episodes every Sunday at 9 o'clock. You can find the full episode by clicking the card up at the top right of this video. If you prefer an audio-only experience, then we want to let you know that we're streaming through every major podcast streaming platform. For the full list, you can go to www.lionandthelambo.com. Until next time, go impact the world.